Back for another installment of Talking a Little Football. I'm Blake Toppmeyer, sports writer at the Herald-Whig. Along with me, as always, Rick Little, Quincy High School football coach. Rick, you and the guys coming off of just a real good game for fans to watch. Exciting for everybody there. In the end, lost 17-7 to Alleman last week on homecoming. Alleman's a great team, but at the same time, watching that game, and I know you felt the same way. It seemed like your guys really had a chance to win and let it slip away a little bit.
Yeah, I mean I know it's easy to say this after you played a close game, a tough game, but this was, in our locker room, it's just the way it is. I'm sure in every team's locker room, we expect to win the football game, and so sometimes in retrospect, when you reflect on it, say people give you accolades and compliments, hey, you hung in there against the number one ranked team, it still stings a lot, because you're like, well, thank you for supporting our team, but gosh, we really felt like we wanted more than just to play with them. And if you watch the game, I know you were at the game. We had several opportunities, and I think we shot ourselves in the foot just too many times against that type of caliber team to come out with a victory. So I'm proud of our guys' effort. I love our football team. I think they're resilient. I think they fight, and they're going to battle till the end. But in the end of the day, these guys are interested in winning ball games, and that's something that our program has evolved. The last several years that we feel like it's still disappointing. I'm proud of that we gave a good effort. I'm proud that we got better in certain areas, but I think right now it's just not good enough. We got to make sure that we're continuing that march to the playoffs, and the conference championship is still a goal these guys have. It's just now you may need some help.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned to me after the game. This program's not really in the market for moral victories anymore. You think all the guys are feeling that way, and coming close against Alleman isn't quite good enough?
I'm convinced of it, just from being with them in film and those sorts of things and going over stuff. Their focus is winning games, and that's something that, like I said, isn't going to change, hopefully, for a long time. But I talked to you last week and said that it's really important that we get better. Win, lose, or draw, we get better. And I think there's certain areas that we did get much better in, and there's certain areas that we're going to have to improve on this week in practice. And I know that's a real focus from our coaching staff standpoint. So I'm excited about the upcoming week. I'm excited that we were relatively healthy, coming out of last week against a tough physical football team like Alleman. And like I said, it's a marathon, and we've told the team that since week one. And obviously we're in the middle of this marathon and hoping to again continue to compile wins.
Right. I thought defensively it was your best effort all season. Alleman scored the 17 points, but 7 of them they got off of a defensive touchdown. What did you like about your defense on Friday, and what did you like out of what you saw?
Well, they were, I call it like a bend but don't break type thing. If you look at them, there's times in the game that Alleman's going to put a charge together, and then if you're on the other end, you're like, well, gosh, we shot ourselves in the foot. But I also think from our defensive, from our perspective, we forced some of those errors. We forced some of those missed throws, or maybe some of those penalties that they had. So I give our defense a lot of credit. I give Coach Cook a lot of credit for putting the game plan together. And again, I just thought it was an area where we needed to show improvement in that area. They had a great running attack, and we've struggled against really good running attacks here the first 3 weeks. And I really felt like the defense took a major stride forward in helping us become a playoff type football team.
Right. The 2 games that you've lost this year, you're sitting there with a 2-2 record here coming into week 5. The 2 games that you've lost, offense hasn't quite been there. Without giving too much away, how can you spark this team a little bit offensively? Do you have any thoughts on maybe how to give this team a little spark?
Well, I think with Alleman, and I think it's important to really dissect and look at week to week. I know people say, well, yeah, but you lost 2 games, only scored 7 points in both those, and you're right. They're correct. But we scored 30 points in one and 24 in another. I think we're more at full strength now than we've ever been. With our football team, get Connor Kelly back. We get Jordan McGriff back. We get some things out there that are helping us out. With Alleman last year, we scored 7 points against them too. That's the type of team that they are. If you really broke it down, we only had 2 possessions in the first half. Actually 3. We had a late possession.
Right.
With them, we're just trying to hurry up, get in field goal range. But at total possessions, at about 5 possessions in the game, and you think about that, you think, well, they're one of, let's take away the three play right before halftime. We were 1 of 4. Now that's not good enough, but we scored 7 points out of one of our 4 drives that we had to the game. It was just one of those slugfests. As a playoff type game where penalties, field position, and turnovers are going to really going to determine the outcome of the game. I think that they did. And so I'm not going to I'm not gonna have a knee-jerk reaction yet to the offense. I think you need to be patient. I think that we will have a coming out party here hopefully soon, and hopefully it's this week.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned Connor Kelly. Is he good to go this Friday against Moline?
Yep, he's cleared to go, and like I said, it's we're really thankful that we don't have to make those decisions because we've got good doctors in town and people that are paid to do those things. So he's healthy, he's ready to go, and I know he's excited to be back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Looking ahead again to Moline this Friday night, you'll be on the road at Moline. Their team that opened up conference play with a close win over Rock Island. And what does that tell you about their team that they were able to beat Rock Island in their WB6 opener?
Well, it tells me that they're really good. We know that Rock Island's got the program that they've got, and they've been always our nemesis, along with Alleman and a lot of teams for that matter.
Right.
But Moline's got you knew they weren't going to be down long, and that's something that we knew. They had for them 2 off years, and now they're back and they're well coached and they're disciplined and they're physical and they're athletic. Lots of things, a lot of adjectives that you don't like to see in the scouting report when you're getting ready for a conference game such as this. But they're a team too. I think that's shown some chinks in their armor. They probably played the toughest non-conference schedule to date, and I also feel though that they've allowed some points. That's something that we're an offense that's looking to kind of get going. Their defense is trying to find out who they are. Something's got to give. And hopefully. It's our offense, breaking out. So we'll figure it out. But I know that they were a team that was receiving votes in the top 10 in the preseason. So we're very familiar that they're a senior-based team. They're a team that's led by, like I said, a good head coach and a team that we know we'll have our hands full with.
Like many of the teams in the Big Six, they are a run-oriented team. They're pretty extremely run-oriented. I know their quarterback Garrett Miners, a big threat to run a little bit. They got a good running back, Deshaun Johnson. And what's the toughest part about defending them?
Some of what you said. The fact that it's not just one guy; it's several guys. They've got the Deshaun Johnson, who is as good as back as we're going to see as far as with speed, power, that whole combination. I kind of laugh here because each week I could bring another name up that's really good, and it's not just for entertainment value. They're good. There's some great backs that we face this year, and he's another one you put at the top of the list. And then their quarterback, they get a lot of production out of him in the run game, and he's just a heady player. He can throw it as well, but they get a lot of big plays out of him in the run game. So, and they're good up front, and so again, I like to tell the fans out there something different, but they're a quality football team, and that's something that they're battle tested too, because they play, like I said, a tough non-conference schedule and one they're very proud of. So we got to make sure that we take care of our stuff and make sure that we focus on some of our strengths and hope to capitalize hopefully on some of their weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. You're probably ready for the week where you don't see a premier running back, right? I don't know if that week's coming.
I don't know, I don't know if it exists either. That's something that it would be easier to sit here and tell you, well, gosh, they struggle at this, they struggle at this, but they just don't. They're a quality team. They're a team that we've talked about it as a coaching staff. They may be equal to or better than Alleman as far as an offense, and so that's something that's a heavy task, and we'll have to make sure that we're ready for it.
Once again, Rick and the Blue Devils will be on the road this Friday night at Moline, trying to improve on that 2-2 record. We'll be back next week to recap that and look ahead to Week 6.